Shalom Akim, Yabashima Shabarakdar, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Real Moonstone who rule well with all diligence and sincerity. Kahla Yabashima Shah, Ram Nasha DC camp with another brief lesson to edify the hopeful elect. Because we know we're in the time of, the sound of the alarm for World War III, you know. That's exactly what's going on. There's a vibration that's being pushed throughout the four corners of the earth. You hear about the trade wars, you hear about all kinds of crazy things, man. But most importantly, the issue between United States and Russia, NATO and Russia, so it's gonna happen. World War III, it's on the verge, man. It's just warming up, it's warming up. The Cold War is already over. And now, we're going through that phase where things are going to be heating up tremendously. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this video and I bring out some more precepts, to shed some more light on the situation.
It's the real news. I'm Aaron Mete. In a speech last week, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced that upgrades to his country's nuclear arsenal would render U.S. missile defenses, quote, useless. Putin showed video footage to preview new hardware, including an intercontinental ballistic missile and drone submarines. Putin said that Russia has no plans to be an aggressor, but will respond to any attack.
Any use of nuclear weapons against Russia and its allies, small or medium, or any strength will be perceived as a nuclear attack on our country. The response will be immediate and with all due consequences.
In his comments, Putin also cited the recent U.S. nuclear posture review, which lowers the threshold for nuclear use, calls for expanding the U.S. arsenal, and names Russia as a key target. And he also faulted the U.S. withdrawal from the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty in 2002. Putin said that move has eroded global arms control efforts, which he called for reviving. At the White House, Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders said that Russia is in fact violating its treaty obligations.
Russia has been developing destabilizing weapons systems for over a decade in direct violations of its treaty obligations. President Trump understands the threats facing America and our allies in this century and is determined to protect our homeland and preserve peace through strength. U.S. defense capabilities are and will remain second to none. And now, because of the new defense budget of $700 billion, our military will be far stronger than ever. As the president's nuclear posture review made clear, America is moving forward to modernize our nuclear arsenal and ensure our capabilities are unmatched.
So in the aftermath of Putin's speech and Trump's recent nuclear posture review, what does the future hold between these two nuclear-armed powers? Well, joining me...
Yeah, that's about it, Akim. I'm just going to bring out a precept because, what exactly does the future hold? It's destruction. There is no way around it. That's how the Most High Yahbashim Shai Hashem Rakakadash has ordained it to happen. The prophets of the Lord understand it. They talked about it in the Old Testament as well as in the New Testament. And the elders and apostles of Great Millstone have talked about it also, man. Without any reservations, because it's the word of Yahweh Shema Shai that's coming to pass. So I want to read Jeremiah chapter 49. Start from actually, I'll make Jeremiah chapter 4. It's like Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 19. So it says, my bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me. I cannot hold my peace, because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. Alright, so that's exactly what we experiencing now, man. The alarm of war is being blown. Folks are nervous, folks are upset. that the time for them to have a nice lifestyle is coming to an end. They're angry, they don't know exactly what to do, they're pissed off in the spirit. Things are not going well for them. They're looking at how they could escape the judgment that's coming upon the face of the earth. So that's how bad it's gonna get for these folks out there that do not have faith in Yahweh Shem Shai, especially 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Just mention that as a group, but throughout the four corners of the earth, the Israelites that do not have faith in Yahweh Shai, they're gonna have a terrible, terrible judgment. They're gonna partake of the destruction that's coming upon the face of the earth. Okay, so that incident, that's going on between United States and Russia, the expelling of the diplomats, each side blaming each other for this and that, it doesn't change the fact that World War III is going to happen, So I'm going to title this video, The Third War Cometh Quickly. And then you look at Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. It says, one woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. Alright, so World War One already passed, World War Two already passed, and now waiting for World War III, and that's in Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. And it says, the second war is past, and behold, the third war cometh quickly. Alright, so it's going to be crazy time, when World War III happens. We're going to see a lot of folks weeping and crying, young men and women being drafted to go fight in World War III, invasion of foreign troops upon America, other nations, invaded. Russia might get invaded too by American troops. So it's going to happen, invasions here and there. And then it's going to be terrible, man. It's going to be terrible sights. And then you look at 2nd Ezra chapter 16. If you start from verse 17, it says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Alright, so that's exactly what the prophet Ezra was talking about, when he wrote the book, and then the elect have to read through it and understand that, wow, these are heavy times coming upon the face of the earth, bitter times, okay? And then verse 18 says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great debt, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. Okay, so this is exactly what's going on between America and Russia, or say NATO and Russia, as well as China, India, Pakistan, Japan. They're in fear of World War III, of what's going to happen, And then says, at the beginning of evils, what shall I do when this evil shall come? Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So that's a judgment that's coming upon the face of the earth. The Most High is bringing heavy judgment, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for folks to survive, because that destruction is going to be unmatched. Alright, so look at Joel, the 2nd chapter. Joel chapter 2, verse 1. And it says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai Ba'ashem Kwakadash cometh. It is nigh at hand. Okay, and then look at verse 2. It says, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people, and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. So it's talking about the nuclear missiles, you know, and the destruction that's going to be coming across the four corners of the earth. So it's going to be crazy, man. America is going to be destroyed according to the prophecy. We read in Isaiah, Jeremiah, okay, Ezekiel, the book of what Yahweh said, in the New Testament as well as in the book of Revelation. So it's gonna happen. Folks are just worried how they're gonna come out on top in World War III, but only people are gonna come out on top are the elect of the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel. Throughout the four corners of the earth, when Yahweh Shai has put his enemies under his feet, and defeated them. Because this World War III is not going to be a war. It's going to be fought with regular weapons. It's going to be high-tech weapons. So look at Zephaniah chapter 1, and then verse 14 all the way to 18. It says, the great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasted greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So all these folks, buying weapons, new weapon systems, going through all kinds of trainings, and drills, they're gonna be sad. Families are gonna be sad, crying. I mean, it's not all soldiers that are gonna die in World War III, but for the ones that make it through, they're gonna be so sad. That was all for nothing. Okay. Then verse 15 says, that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. So that's the destruction that's going to be coming upon the face of the earth, the aftermath. You're going to see how that thick plumes of smoke, dark smoke upon the face of the earth, the clouds are going to be dark, the sunlight's going to barely make it through, And then verse 16 says, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. Okay. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make an even speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So that's a destruction that's going to happen, in America. The empire of Esau is going to be torn apart. It's going to be flushed down the toilet, by Yahweh Shai. Folks can run around, just play a few more seconds of this video.
He is Theodore Postal, Professor of Science, Technology, and National Security Policy at MIT. Welcome, Professor Postal. There's been a lot of discussion about Putin's speech last week. Many saw it as a dangerous sign to the world, to nuclear security. What is your takeaway from his comments?
Well, I wonder who the many people. I mean, I know what you're referring to, but the press coverage was really terrible on the speech. It really didn't get at any of the fundamental underlying issues that must be addressed by both Russia and the United States. Basically, what he said, and incidentally, I should say that he laid out a factual historical statement prior to talking about these new weapons. And there is nothing that is even mildly spin with regard to the facts. Those facts are absolutely solid, and nobody who knows their history could dispute any of the statements he made about the facts. So his interpretation, we can talk about. But basically, what Putin said is that the United States withdrew from the ABM Treaty in 2002. He pointed out that in 2000, 2 years before that, the United States was already talking about withdrawing from the treaty, and that the Russians were arguing against the wisdom of doing that very strongly. That none of the things that the Russians said influenced the United States, and we withdrew from the treaty in 2002.
That's about it, you know. The Messiah set the discord up, you know, the discord between the house of Edom, you know, it's gonna uh, it's gonna be serious, man. You know, the Russians and against EU, NATO, it's gonna be heavy, you know, and that's just how the Messiah has planned for things to happen, you know. So with that being said, Kahaloya Bashima Shai, dub honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Sincere Akim, hoping diligently that salvation comes, you know, from the destruction that's upon the face of the earth, man, you know, because Akim gotta hold on tight, you know, to this doctrine of Yahushua. You know, we have no other hope, you know, we have no other salvation in this world, you know, all that promises made to Jake, you know, by these heathens is not beneficial. Only Yahushua has the answers to you know to our problems, which is salvation that we're you know patiently waiting for, you know. So I can just hold on, stay steadfast in the spirit, keep on looking out for the signs, you know, put up lessons, Lord willing, you know, I can get inspired to put up some more lessons. Shalom.